Hey, hi, hello, friends. I'm back with a change of scenery. Hey guys, so I've been gone for a couple days and I know stuff looks a little different, but that's mostly just because I'm in a different place. I'm visiting my family on the East Coast, and so everything looks different. And this is my sister's room. If you follow me on Twitter, you will know that I slept in this room because her piece of crap cat peed on my bed. So now I'm commandeering her room. She is also somewhere in this room, so if you hear noises, that is her. And I hate you. So with all of that said, let's talk about Chantal. I'm actually going to be talking about a pared down version of her Nashville chicken Beezin video. As you guys know, I always have these videos edited down for brevity. I'm going to try and keep it as relatively short as I can. There's about 10 minutes worth of stuff, but you know me, I can turn a 10-minute video into like an hour-long conversation. So with all that said, let's get into it. Oh, one more thing. There's like storming happening outside. It's like real cloudy and very dark, and I can hear thunder and lightning. So you may hear that. I don't know if you can. Let me know if you can down below, please.
My breathing is bad. I woke up dreaming of this.
She complains often about how bad her breathing is, which is like hilarious to me. Oh, let me know if the sound is okay. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. She like often complains about how bad her breathing is, but then she's actively also like smoking pre-rolls and like smoking cigarettes, and I don't understand why. I mean, especially the pre-rolls don't make any sense to me. I mean, if you're eating edibles and you're taking like candy, like chocolate of that kind, right? Like you're taking THC infused chocolates, you're doing all these other things. I don't understand why you also need the pre-rolls. Somebody who has more experience with marijuana, please tell me down below, do the pre-rolls provide you with something different than like an edible would? Because it seems to me like she will do whatever will get her like as away from her thoughts as humanly possible. So I don't know why both of them are necessary unless just more is more is more is more, you know? Which, to be fair, is very common with her. I just don't get this obsession with like the new obsession with like smoking the pre-rolls, and especially going back to the cigarettes, because it's so bad for her lungs. You guys know this already.
I weighed myself today. 334. Not bad since I ate so much crap yesterday. Thought it was going to be like 360.
She said before this, and when I paused it before, I hadn't mentioned that, like, she said she woke up dreaming of this. Like, very rarely have I ever gone to sleep and woken up the next day dreaming of food. When I wake up dreaming of food, it's like, oh, I'm going somewhere very super special. Like, not Burger King, you know? It's really weird that she wakes up dreaming of food. I just want to point that out. I mean, that's not surprising for Chantal, given just how much of an addict that she is of pretty much everything, but mostly food. But still, it's just want to point that out there. The other thing that I find very odd about this is like so early in the morning for her to like just wake up and like order Burger King. I don't think she's even gone out. I think she just ordered it delivered to her house. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So I'll figure I can eat a couple more. No. I'm just going to Beast today, and then tomorrow we have to do groceries because
I don't like this. I don't like the fact that she calls everything she does that is poor behavior beezing, because from what we've seen, beezing can mean anything from playing karaoke and Mario Kart online with her audience to doing cocaine, right? And I don't like the fact that she just uses that term interchangeably, because it gives her blanket cover, because she could just say beezing and then we wouldn't know what end of the spectrum she's at. Like, has she just like smoked a joint and is eating some food and playing Mario Kart, which is like fairly harmful or harmless, sorry, or did she just do like 4 lines of coke? And I don't like that she groups all of it together. I don't like the fact that everything is beezing now. Everything is just partying mood. And I don't like how lightly she dismisses that. I wish if she was using beezing, she would just, I want it to have a set definition, as weird as that sounds, because not having a set definition, while it doesn't really harm us, I think for her it gives her like deniable, like, like she gets to avoid culpability, essentially. She can call anything she wants beezing, and she can just say, well, I was just playing around, you know, I was just like relaxing, I was just doing this, and I was just doing self-care. She'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And that's not what it is, because it can mean anything and we wouldn't know. And we might give her a pass thinking, oh, okay, she's just having like a couple burgers today, or she's just like being really lazy today. When in reality, she's been using the umbrella term Beezin, and our essentially just, you know, acceptance of her behavior as a sign that, you know, everything is fine, and that, you know, like she's just like, oh yeah, I can just continue to do like a little bit of cooking, just one line today, it's fine. Obviously, they didn't make a big fuss about me beezing today, so it's okay, you know? One more thing I will say really fast. She also says that, you know, oh, we have to go like healthy grocery shopping tomorrow. She had said this in a previous video too. Remember when she was talking about French Fry Girl and she was so mad? And she's like, I'm going to starve all you bitches. I'm going to get so healthy and you won't have anything to talk about. You know, I'm going to eat healthy and all that. And then she like giggles. She's like, starting tomorrow. This is the same thing. It's always tomorrow with her. It's never today. She could literally say, I know I'm eating this right now, but after this, I'm gonna go get groceries. But if she waits until tomorrow, it gives her the ability to like reset. And she's like, well, one more day won't hurt. Well, one more day won't hurt. Or you wake up late and you're like, oh, I don't have anything food in the house. Let me just order out for breakfast, and then I can figure out the rest later. And then once you've eaten the breakfast, you're like, oh, today's already shot. You know? If she really wants to start tomorrow, do grocery shopping today. Like, she has nothing else on her schedule. Go do grocery shopping, bring back the food, put everything in the fridge, and start eating healthier tomorrow, even if the rest of today is a quote-unquote wash in your head. I've already told you guys how I feel about that. You know, you shouldn't look at the day as being won or lost based on one meal. You should just look at, like, okay, well, that meal is done. That's over with. Let's just eat better for the next meal going forward. Look at each meal as its own, like, encapsulated piece of time. And this way, when it's done, it's done. And you don't just take that sort of mindset into like the entire day, you know?
I
love you. Maybe it's just me, somebody tell me, but like she does not look sober here. Her behavior is just bizarre.
I actually didn't smoke anything yet. I think I'm still baked from yesterday.
Is that a thing? Someone who uses THC products, please let me know down below.
I'm thinking of going to Jamaica. Like, seriously.
She's talked a lot about going to Jamaica before, and we actually already have confirmation that she spoke with her aunt, and her aunt's like, no, thank you. Looking after Chantal is a big responsibility. Like, it's not a small thing. Like, you would have to be responsible for Chantal, despite the fact that she is like an almost 40-year-old woman. Chantal's incapable of taking care of herself. I can completely understand that a person might not want to accept that kind of responsibility. The fact that her uncle took her in and was willing to do all of that is very sweet of him, but that doesn't mean that that is what everyone is required to do. That's not like an automatic thing she is owed.
I don't think, funnily enough, I don't think weed is legal in Jamaica, which is weird.
No, it's not. I found that very odd when I visited too. It's very pervasive, but...
So...
yeah.
That would be a struggle. But oh well.
I mean...
I probably wouldn't even think about it over there.
She goes, I probably wouldn't even think about it over there. Like she's going to be a different person while she's there. She had the same sort of behavior when she was moving from BB's house to the place that she's living in now. The problem that Chantal has is that Chantal is Chantal no matter where she is. Her emotional issues don't go away just because you're in a new place. It can feel nice if you already have a handle on your emotional situation, having a change of pace, going to a new country, all of that can feel really good. But if you don't have a good handle on your emotional headspace, you don't have a good handle on your internal struggles, you don't have a good handle on your mental health, and you don't have a good handle on your physical health, all of the problems that you're experiencing in your house, you're going to take with you no matter where you go. So she's going to show up in Jamaica and she's going to have the same problems. She's still going to have to see a doctor. She's still going to have to see a therapist. She's still going to have to take a ton of medication. You know, she's still not going to have like a healthy way of coping with her emotions. She's still going to want to smoke until she's essentially out of her mind. She's still going to want to maybe even try and get other drugs while she's there, you know? And the fact that she thinks that all of that will change just because she's in a new location is naive, to say the least. And well, I shouldn't say naive. Naive would imply that she doesn't know better. She does know better. She is being willfully ignorant of this fact. She knows that nothing will really change, but she doesn't want to admit it to herself. The only way stuff will change in your life is if you change it, and Chantal's unwilling to change it.
Guys, I thrive on...
This was so stupid.
Certain changes I thrive on.
Okay. Name one change that you've thrived on.
Believe me.
Chantal cannot be believed when it comes to her own capabilities and limitations. Not in like a mean kind of way. Well, I guess it is kind of mean to say, but I don't mean this in a mean way. Like, I'm not doing it to be hurtful. I mean in the sense that Chantal likes to delude herself as much as she can. She loves saying, well, I'm going to go to Jamaica with not real understanding that to go to Jamaica, you need more than just the ability to like walk into an airport and buy a ticket, right? Like, you need other things while you're there. For example, it is a very, very hot country. The heavier you are, the hotter you feel. Will you be able to handle that kind of heat? Will you be able to do any of the swimming? Will you be able to do any of the physical activity required? You know, Ubers and stuff might be a little bit harder there. Will you be able to drive in a country that has so many more like restrictions? Because genuinely, driving in Jamaica can be a challenge. Like, some roads are very, very well taken care of and there's no problem, but other roads are very, very rough. You have to do very careful kind of driving there. And Chantal drives distracted all of the damn time, right? Will you be able to make enough of a living while you're there? Internet can be spotty. She can't live stream all the time. Is she willing to put in the commitment to make pre-recorded videos again? All of those are things that she's never put in the consideration for. She's never thought it through. Not to say that she couldn't. If she puts in the effort, even at her current weight and health condition, she could do it. But she needs to take a realistic approach to it. She can't just be like, I'll just shove everything into a bag, give my cats away, and I'll just go. That's not how it works. That's not how life works. You're not a child anymore. You can't just depend on other people to pick up the pieces after you. You have to do all of that planning yourself.
My logic is, I'd be with my aunt.
Uh-huh.
There's no temptation there for other stuff, bad stuff.
Okay.
She eats healthy. Like, pretty much only healthy stuff. Number 2.
Okay. Her eating healthy and you eating healthy are two very different things. Pete's ate relatively healthy before he moved in with you, and now he's gained a ton of weight living with you because you are a negative influence. Just because she will stock her fridge with like carrots and whatnot doesn't mean that they'll magically enter your body instead of McDonald's. Fast food is available in Jamaica just as well as it is anywhere else. You know? So if you wanted fast food there, and I'm sure they have their own version of Uber Eats and delivery and whatnot. And if Chantal has the money, she's just going to call them and be like, oh yeah, can you deliver whatever she wants? And depending on where her aunt lives, like if you live in Kingston, you can find any kind of food you want in Kingston. Like, it's not even that much of an issue. It's a pretty big city. So the same problem she has here with delivering food, she'd have there. As for the temptation for other stuff, I had someone leave me this comment down below, and I really appreciated that. They said that that her brother had once told her, her brother who had a substance abuse issue, had once told her that even if she deleted all of the contacts in his phone regarding, you know, like just procuring illegal substances, any city that she dropped him in, he could find a place to get drugs. So if she's determined, she can find where to get the stuff. Like, I'm sure if you want it, you can probably find it, right? Like, there is, like, dealers have a way of finding their customer base. How exactly do they find their people? I don't know. I'm not experienced with this. But I know that they can. And I know she will want to. It's just how she is. She was able to find it here, and once Dom cut her off, she was able to find someone else to supply her with the drugs. How did she do that? I imagine it works in similar ways in other countries. It might even be easier. The restrictions here are a lot more strict, right? Like, just because the legality of it is the same doesn't mean that the ease of procurement is any different. I mean, weed was so pervasive. Like, when we went to Jamaica, any corner you turn to, you could find like 4 people willing to send you weed, sell you weed. And I think it's the same thing there. It might be a similar things in certain places to just procure other substances as well.
What would you rather see? This? Or vlogs in Jamaica? Hello?
I love how she's phrasing this like we are the ones who are saying, no, stay here, please, Chantal. Remain a reclusive shut-in in your apartment and only eat Burger King. Like, please, I would love for her to get on a plane and go to Jamaica. and spend time there and send vlogs from there. I love Jamaica. Jamaica was my favorite vacation to date so far. And I think that if she actually went, it might actually do her some good, if for no other reason than because it might shake her loose of whatever emotional quicksand she's fallen into. That said, she's never going to go. Just like she was never going to go on the Dominican Republic trip, just like she's never going to do Eurobeast, she's not going to go. These are all mental fantasies, if anything else, if nothing else. All she wants to do is have the option of going to Jamaica, because then she can plan for that and she doesn't have to deal with anything in her real life. She doesn't have to deal with the messy situation of finding a rehab place. She doesn't have to deal with the messy situation of getting rid of everything in her house, of fighting with the cravings, more emotional more than anything else, day to day, of talking to a therapist, of talking to a doctor, of getting the STD panel done. None of this stuff she wants to deal with. If she can mentally put herself into going somewhere else, then, none of this stuff is important. This day-to-day minutiae isn't important. What's important is this trip, this upcoming trip. It gives her that escape that she so clearly wants. It's the same thing that she gets when she does those 4 or 5 hour long drives to go nowhere in particular. And I'm not even saying I don't entirely understand that. During the pandemic, one of my favorite things was making elaborate itineraries for trips that I knew I couldn't take. I found it therapeutic almost, like it gave me a way to go somewhere without actually going anywhere. But at least I understand that's what I was doing. I was using it to deal with being essentially forced into a shut-in position. She does this to herself on purpose. She has the option to not live this way, and she continues to do this to herself. And then she uses all of these other coping mechanisms to try and negate the negative emotional aspects that come with the life choices that she's made. When in reality, the best solution going forward would just be to not make those negative emotional choices. Like, go see a therapist. It can suck for the first little bit, but then afterwards it's better. It's great.
You guys, think about it. How fun would that be?
You're never going to do it.
WM. It's going to be a 2-piece.
She's talking about getting a swimsuit to wear to the beach. First of all, her eyes look really dilated to me here. If someone with more experience, please let me know down below, but they look real dilated to me. And she's never going to wear a 2-piece to a beach. She's never even going to go to a beach. I don't think that Chantal has the kind of confidence required to do that in person. We've already seen that she's mentioned in past videos how she doesn't like going to see her friends and stuff like that, because when she wears shoes, boots, if she has to take them off at the door, it's a struggle. She has to think about it. And she's like, I don't want to struggle like that in public. And that's fair. She doesn't even like leaving her house most of the time because she doesn't like being perceived by people. Do you guys remember when she'd gone to the park to take a walk and someone had made a comment to someone else that Chantal was fat, and Chantal had a near mental breakdown in the car? She can't handle it. So the idea that she'd feel comfortable wearing a 2-piece suit at the beach is, honestly, it's laughable. If she wants to, she should do it. I'm not saying that she should not wear a 2-piece if she wants to wear a 2-piece. Absolutely, go ahead, wear a 2-piece. I don't give a shit. But I don't think that she has the confidence to do it. I think she's all bark and no bite.
Why does therapy have to be sitting and crying to some idiot? It should be self-care, like going to Jamaica. Well, thing is, I can talk to a therapist. It's all remote right now anyway.
The thing about therapy is not self-care has been mistaken by the internet to mean doing whatever makes you feel good in that moment, and that's not what self-care is. Self-care means to take care of oneself. You should do the things that are good for you in the long term, i.e. going to see a therapist, getting a handle on your emotions, trying to find a better job, trying to keep your house clean. Things like that, things that bring you happiness, that might be hard in the short term, like exercise, but good for you in the long term, not getting heart disease, right? That's what self-care actually is. It's not putting a mask on your face and lying in bed for 5 hours. It's not escaping your life to run away to Jamaica because you're going to take all your problems with them. The issues that Chantal has are internal. She has an internal issue. Putting it externally is not going, changing your external surroundings is not going to do anything. How will going to Jamaica change anything about her addiction? I really want the commenters, enablers of her chat to tell me this. How will going to Jamaica change anything about her being an addict? Will it make it any better? Will it help the cravings be less? And she's saying that, she can still do online therapy appointments, but I actually don't think that you can. When you move to a different country, when you move, even some insurances have it that even if you move to a different state, the laws are different. They cannot provide counseling to people in different countries. So she can lie to them But I think it's going to be fairly evident when she's requesting therapy sessions at like weird times because the times don't match up. So I don't even think that could be possible. Now, she could find somebody that's local, potentially, but then you're paying for them out of pocket. Everything comes at a cost, right?
This burger makes my nose work. So freaking hot.
This is a fast food burger from a fast food place. And she's shown us eating massive amounts of sriracha on top of just stuff like rice and eggs and whatnot. I highly doubt that it is as spicy as she's making it out to be. I genuinely think that her nose is watering for other reasons.
Hold on a minute.
Yep, there she goes. And I want you guys to keep in mind how publicly she's doing it. She's perfectly okay with blowing her nose on camera right now.
Ever have one? I could do videos in Jamaica. Like, I want to do like a Jamaica food tour. Like, I've never had like food. I've never been to Jamaica, so there's so many things.
Has she never been to Jamaica before? I thought that she said that she visited her aunt before in Jamaica. But a Jamaican food tour would be great. If she could actually make the effort, talk to like people. She's a fairly big channel. She could go and like get in touch with the owner. She could like interview them. She could talk about the history of the place. She could try the food. She could make it a whole series, go around the entirety of the island. That's what my partner and I did. We literally drove around the entire island. We tried all these little restaurants. It was amazing. She could do something like that, but like vlog it, put it all online. I think people would love that. But it all requires time, energy, and effort, none of which she's been willing to put in before.
I think the change of environment temporarily would be good. You know? Plus, like, my aunt is amazing support.
The change in environment temporarily could be nice if you had a handle on your emotional state before going on this change of environment. Otherwise, you're just putting yourself in a place where you have less support than you do here, because there she might have her aunt, but here she has her entire family, and you still don't have a handle on your emotions, so you're much more likely to spiral out of control.
My lungs. I might puffer. I did smoke too many cigarettes this past few days here. Self-care is very important.
Her and her damn cigarettes. I'm literally like worried about the fact that she's smoking so much. It can't possibly be good for her lungs. Her and her damn cigarettes, like genuinely, it's so... She disregards her health so much, and then she's continuously shocked when her body betrays her. Like, of course, what did you think would happen? You are almost 40 years old. You've been morbidly obese the majority of your life, and you take zero care of yourself. You cannot be surprised then that your body is betraying you. I think I missed something she said. Let me go back for a second.
I did smoke too many cigarettes this past few days here. Self-care is very important.
Self-care is very important. She's just not doing any of it. So, like I said, self-care does not mean just smoking and being high all the time. It means doing the painful emotional work so that you are in a position to flourish in your life. Choosing sadness doesn't mean that you're doing self-care. That's what she's doing right now. She chooses to ignore her emotions with weed, with cigarettes, with guys, with everything. She doesn't actually fix anything. Ooh, that was thunder. She doesn't choose to fix anything about her life. So she's continuously trapped in this cycle where she needs more and more things to make her forget about the fact that her life is falling apart rather than fixing her life. What she's doing right now is escapism. It's not self-care.
For me, funnily enough, this is self-care.
It is not.
Mental self-care.
You cannot be trusted to know what self-care is. You thought cocaine was self-care.
Staying in my room. No, honestly, I feel...
Even she knows that what she's saying is ridiculous. Staying in my room, hiding away from the world, avoiding all my responsibilities. That's self-care. That's not self-care. That's literally hiding away from the world. That's literally hermetism. She's choosing a life of isolation and she's calling it self-care. Human beings are very social creatures. We are not meant to exist alone in isolation, but that's exactly what she's choosing for herself, and she suffers all of the negative consequences of it.
Happy like doing that. I feel safe. I don't know. Maybe that's not healthy.
No, it's not. She might feel safe in her room because nothing outside can like hurt her in here, but fundamentally that's not healthy. You can't find love, you can't find friendship, you can't find emotional support or stability hiding in your room. The only thing that's in your room is you. And when you have issues and you don't know how to solve them, you're not going to miraculously come to the solution without any kind of help from outside, right? It can be in the form of books, it can be in the form of therapy, it can be in the form of friends and family. She's not willing to accept any of that. She doesn't do anything. The most that we have is her chat. And even that, she deletes anyone who has anything even slightly negative to say about her. How is she ever going to change her point of view? How is she ever going to grow as a person if she's never faced with anyone who has even a slightly opposing point of view? You can't. You can't grow in isolation.
But tomorrow, if I'm going to be going to Jamaica,
Clock the if.
soon, like this month, then we have to, every single day, we're going to check in. We're eating super healthy, like super healthy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
We gotta go shopping for a nice bathing suit and some nice clothes. And
I like the fact that she started this by saying if. She already is finding ways to like wiggle out of it, to phrase it so that people don't later come back and say, well, you said you were going, how come we're no longer going? Same thing with Eurobeezing, right? She says if, when. She doesn't ever set a time or a date, right, of when she'd want to go here, because that would mean that commitment to something. She would have to work towards that goal. That's why the Dominican Republic trip weighed so heavily on her, because it was finite. She couldn't change it because it wasn't all in her control. She'd have to find a way of dropping out. And yeah, once more, she used the pandemic as a reason why they officially canceled the trip, but she was never going to go, and we all know that. And it's the same thing here. She says she wants to go to Jamaica, but she's never actually going to go to Jamaica, even if her aunt ever allowed it. Because going to Jamaica would mean she'd have to follow through on her promises. She'd have to get slightly healthier so it's safer for her to fly. She'd have to lose weight so she can fit into that bathing suit that she likes. She'd have to go back to recording pre-recorded content. She'd have to reach out to people, make hotel reservations, find a car, do all of those, adult things that you do before you go on a trip. She's not willing to do any of that. What she wants is for someone to magically just transport her from where she is to Jamaica with all the things that she needs in a body that's 200 pounds lighter. That's what she wants, and she's never going to get that. That's not how life works. She doesn't want to deal with that. She doesn't want to deal with life, and that's her problem with everything.
Because gotta look cute in Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going there to meet anybody or to go on 90 Day Fiancé, imagine.
God.
In the airport, yeah.
She mentioned 90 Day Fiancé here, and in her last video she was so mad. She's like, you guys are always talking about, someone who's not even in the group chatting about them, and she talks about 90 Day Fiancé all the time. Like, those are also real people, and you talk smack about them all the time in your, members only chat. So, ma'am, how are you different? The only difference is that your trash TV of choice has a much wider audience than my trash TV of choice.
Oh my God, I really want to go so bad. That would be so good for me right now.
You don't know what's good for you. You have shown no ability to understand, realize what is good for you, what's in your best interest moving forward. You are a hedonist. You just want. You just take. Use. Everything, everyone. It's just what makes you happiest in that moment. That is the only thing you know. That's not how you live life.
So tomorrow I need to call the weight loss surgery place.
Oh, great. This again.
Or not call the weight loss surgery place. Do my paperwork. On that.
Yeah. She hasn't done the paperwork. Do you guys remember all those months ago when she was talking about getting weight loss surgery? How far down the list do you think she is now? And now she's at even higher risk because she's both used illicit substances and she's lost weight using those substances. I cannot help but feel that it's going to put her at an even more disadvantaged spot when it comes to getting approved from a psychological point of view for weight loss surgery.
Because honestly, guys...
Yes? Honestly?
I'm thinking just using whatever tool. If they... I know people said no, Joe, but it's up to me what I want to do with my life, right?
Who said no? Who's saying no to her for getting weight loss surgery? The only people who are saying no to you, at least as far as the haters go, are people who are concerned that weight loss surgery will not work for you because you don't have the ability to not binge eat. The only reason she wasn't binge eating now was because she was doing cocaine. I mean, if she has her ability to eat food taken away from her, she turns to even more harmful vices because she's not willing to do the psychology she's not willing to do the psychological work that's required to be in a healthy enough place to get weight loss surgery. She's unwilling to do that. That's her fundamental problem with everything in life, right? She's not willing to put in the work. That's why people are saying don't get weight loss surgery. Do you know how painful it would be if she got weight loss surgery and then she busted one of her stitches open? Like, that would be so much worse. Consider.
I can have an opinion, sure, but in the end, no matter what, I get to do what I want with my life, don't I? Don't I?
Sure, do whatever you want with your life, but it's your stitches you're going to be busting open in your stomach requiring emergency surgery for you. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't even listen. She's like, well, people are allowed to have an opinion. People, yes, will always have an opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. But at least listen to what they're saying before you dismiss them with that smug, superior attitude of yours.
I'm shaky. Like, I need to smoke something. Honestly, I need to calm down a bit. Oh, these are like symptoms I still get. Like, really shaky when I was trying to book my...
At this point, she's getting into that territory of if she was only using once every few days, she's getting back into that territory of this is how often I was using. So I'm worried now that this is when like the real cravings are going to start hitting. This is when the real work actually starts. And I don't know if she has really the ability to fight it. And if you guys have seen her now deleted Mushroom Live, then you'll know that she just turned to something else when one was taken away from her, right? I will be reacting to that, by the way. Probably going to be coming Wednesday. I want to say Wednesday because I do want to talk about Amberlynn as well. So that'll probably be tomorrow. And then Wednesday we'll get the mushroom video.
Yeah. Gonna have a piece of chocolate. Just a piece. Duran, yeah.
She literally cannot function in her life without being on something. She's like, I'm getting jittery, I'm getting, like jitters through this. Like, is that what you're going to do anytime you're experiencing anything? Jitters suck, yeah, and anxiety sucks. I'm not even like disputing that. But the way she treats it is like somebody who takes like medication. You're not taking medication, you're not under doctor supervision. You're just doing whatever you want to make you feel better in that moment. Rather than taking one drug, you're taking another drug. Your emotional dependency on it is genuinely a little scary.
Girls on film. Maybe I should just shower and get pretty just because it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
No, then it will remind me of getting ready to go where, so I can't do that.
See, that would actually have been self-care. Getting showered, getting ready, looking pretty, that would have been self-care. Because even though it doesn't fix anything going forward, it might give you enough of an energy boost to do other things in your life that would also make you feel better, right? But she's choosing not to do that because she's like, well, that might trigger me because, of Dom. She doesn't know if it will. I don't think it's ever done that to her before, at least not that she's mentioned on camera. And she's smoking again here. She just complained about how bad her lungs are, but here she is, smoking once again.
I need to avoid triggers right now, and everything in my life is kind of a trigger. So I feel like going to Jamaica would be...
I mean this very genuinely, but when everything in your life becomes a trigger, then maybe you should learn how to uncock the gun. I don't know if that metaphor landed because I don't know anything about guns, if you can't tell. I'm a bleeding heart liberal. It's just not my space. But if you think everything in your life upsets you, then maybe you should talk to a professional about it rather than trying to run away to another country. Because all the things that are upsetting about your life are just going to be replicated there, right? Like, what is it about her physical state of being that's upsetting her? Like where her location that's upsetting her? The fact that it's dirty? Well, it wasn't before she moved in. The fact that she doesn't have friends? Well, she won't know anybody there at all. The fact that her body's falling apart? Well, she's taking her body with her. So what is it about the house that she is in currently that is triggering to her? Everything has to do with the emotional ties that she has, and she's taking all those emotions with her.
Lots of people smoking on film.
Sure. Most of them have been either demonetized or have had at least those videos demonetized.
So what do you guys think? Do you think Jamaica is a good idea?
I think it's a great idea.
Just say young people, Callie, you're leaving. Last time I saw you were...
If you were willing to actually put in the work and get yourself to a place where you could go to Jamaica and enjoy it, I think it would be a fantastic idea. Working towards a trip is not a bad thing at all. When we were going to Yellowstone, I literally walked, I want to say, something like 5 or 6 miles every day to get myself into a healthy enough place where I was like, I wouldn't even feel it if we were doing like 6 miles, 7 miles in a day where we were just walking and it wouldn't mean anything. Because I wanted to be in a good enough health position to go. I wanted to, because like I literally had no musculature before we were going to Yellowstone, and I wanted to be able to do all the hike stuffs that I wanted.
Aiming at it. How the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
I'm gonna throw up the screenshot of what she actually said to Alex the Shook. If you guys don't know, Alex the Shook has a history with addiction himself. He is someone who has been in recovery for a while. He did have a relapse a little while ago. And Chantal's attitude towards him and his drug addiction was extremely poor, I think. I can understand if someone can say, hey, wouldn't you at least be able to show me a little bit of sympathy? You yourself have had similar struggles. But you can read her message up here. Text is a hard medium to convey a lot of emotion in. You can read into it what you will. But to me, it speaks of condescension and rage. Because the way that she wrote the message out and just her smug personality and the way that she tends to respond to people online overall says to me someone who did not appreciate being called on the way that she eats and the way that she's impacting her body, especially considering that what she was doing was quote unquote in her head healthy and what Alex was doing was destructive. And I'm not saying that what Alex was doing before was not destructive. What I'm saying is he's willing to admit that he was being destructive. He's willing to take steps in his life to get better. He's willing to rely on people. He's changing his life around, something which you have shown no ability or willingness to do so. It's very evident in the way that she continuously questions, is this my rock bottom? Is this my rock bottom? When you get to rock bottom, you'll know. If you have to question if I'm at my rock bottom, you're obviously not at your rock bottom yet.
I was shaming addicts? Like who? Who did I shame?
Get out of here. Even if you don't want to talk about Alex, like forget about Alex for a second, right? Like you can read her messages. You can let me know if you think that what she said was shaming towards him or not. That's very up to personal interpretation. I think it says to me of rage, but I could also be wrong in that, right? Maybe she didn't mean it that way and she's just a bad typer. Who knows? You tell me what you think. But how about your attitude towards Jen, right? Lyfe by Jen has a very serious binge eating problem as well. And you definitely fat shamed her. You definitely mobility shamed her. You definitely mocked her. And she didn't come for you. All you want to talk about is how you talk about people in self-defense. She never said anything to you. You went to her channel. You offered her unsolicited advice. And when she didn't want it, you got butthurt and got mad about it. That wasn't shaming. You weren't food shaming, addict shaming her then. Her addiction of choice is food. At that point, the same as yours. You had no problem shaming her then.
I didn't shame Alex.
Liar.
I said, maybe focus on your own addiction instead of mine.
That's not what you said.
So I think it's the other way around.
She loves giving us a revised version of her history. We don't have evidence for it. She said multiple times that, BB and I both called it off. I broke up with him. She's even has gone as far as to say, when we know for a fact that she was just having a conversation with him and she said, so what, you want to break up? Bluntly, just sort of out of left field, just putting out the most extreme option she could think of, and he went, yes. And she wasn't prepared for it and she didn't know how to handle it and she spiraled. The video is still up on her channel as far as I remember. But she goes back continuously and tries to rewrite history and create this narrative that something else happened. Days and years and months after the fact. And she's doing the same thing here. That's not what you said.
People shaming our addictions.
No.
But okay.
You didn't include him in ours. There was no, hey, people make it hard for all addicts. Maybe you should try be nicer to me. You didn't say anything about how I struggle the way that you struggle. The way you put it was that I'm in opposition to you. I am better than you. I might eat a little bit, but at least I'm not a junkie. That's the air that her message gave, okay?
Bye. Call out my name.
Please stop ruining the weekend for me.
I was at addiction shaming, saying worry about your own. I mean, if you're going to comment on my addiction...
Sorry
which
about
was,
that.
at the time was food, but have a bunch of lines in your background, like, you can kindly fuck off.
Once more, he's at least aware of his problem. You seem to alternate between saying it's fine and fat liberation and health at every size and everybody is shaming me, how dare they fat shame me, right? He at least seems to realize what I'm doing is not good and relies on friends and family and has tried to go to therapy and address his issues. When you sit there on camera blaming everybody else for your problems, like, you don't see how those two situations are different. You don't see how someone who's actively trying to better themselves is different than someone who tends to sink deeper and deeper into their own addiction and then lash out at everyone who points it out to them. And you'll see an example, by the way, of her lashing out at a subscriber in just a little bit.
Quite frankly. How do you know I don't have money?
Because you said you don't have money.
I have money.
I don't think so. I don't think that Chantal does as well as she makes it out to be. I think she does quite well when it comes to actually how much she earns. I also think that she basically spends with an open hand. I don't think she has any control over spending. This is just another area in her life where she just overconsumes everything, right? Drugs, money, sex, weed, food, everything. More. We've seen she spends thousands of dollars in a day. If you guys haven't seen it, her cannabis haul, Milk Tea Reacts did a fantastic video on it, and she tallied up how much Chantal spent. And it's like $1,000 on just weed and edibles. So I don't actually think that Chantal does poorly for herself. I think that she makes a good amount of money. I just also think she spends a good amount of money. That's why when she comes back and she says things like, oh yeah, I don't understand why, like, it's so expensive, and I don't, like, you guys keep saying you just go to inpatient treatment. Well, it's like $20,000. You could save that if you made the effort. That's why I don't think she'll ever really be able to do like a trip like Jamaica, because you have to save the money to be able to buy like tickets, book hotels, do all that stuff. And I think that because of her out of control spending, she basically just lives like paycheck to paycheck. And we've seen no evidence of it being anything other than that, especially because we've seen that when it starts getting towards the end of the month, she'll start pushing people, blocking people. She's like, give me $15 or I'm going to block you. How come you guys aren't giving? How come only 4 of you have given so far? How come I'm losing members? You can see her worry. You could see it when she was like talking about how you guys could make me homeless. If you have so much money, why were you so worried about being homeless just a little while ago? Like 2 videos ago, she was talking about it. You either are worried that you'll become homeless and you are like milking your audience for money and sympathy and whatnot so that they keep giving you so that you don't become homeless because you don't have savings, or you do have savings, you can go on this Jamaica trip, and as such you should stop telling people how you'll become homeless if they don't give you money. You can't have it both ways.
With peace and love, what? I think the change of scenery will be good for me.
Why? Why do you think so? Which problem will that solve? I want to know.
Yeah, I find it funny that those people that come in here and refer to like one time that they think I shamed somebody for addiction.
Twice, at least.
But every single day, Amberlynn and I get shamed for that.
Oh yeah, cool. Back to combining her and Amber together. And once more, what was the thing with Jen? Well, what about her? What about all the times you've gone online and you've talked about how like other creators were talking about you were all so fat, right? You do that all the time. You do that shit all the time. It's not different when other people do it to you. Either we're all doing it and we're all like pigs playing in mud, and you can just get off your fucking high horse, or we're not all the same and you are somehow better than us, and in which case I'd like you to explain how. I want an explanation for why you think you shaming other people is okay. You could say that Alex talks about her, but Alex doesn't call her names. He doesn't call her, like, insult her appearance. He talks about what his opinions are on her problems, like a lot of us channels do, right? She goes after everybody. Milk Tea Reacts is maybe the kindest channel to her that I have ever seen, including myself. I am mean to her sometimes. But she is maybe the kindest channel. And Chantal even had to go after her. She even, like, went and left her rude comments. So get out of here when you say that they are shaming us all the time. You can't handle any criticism. You think everything is a personal attack on you. Main character syndrome she has.
Like every single fucking day.
Get out of here. Every video that she's put out in the past week has just been raging on camera. So get over yourself, man, when you're like, every single day people are making fun of me and fat shaming me. When all you've done is throw out insult after insult, insult minority group after minority group, and sit there being smug and lying to your audience, and then backpedaling and saying, I don't even think I was really addicted. I caught it just in time, you guys. Whatever.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I also apologized back then. That was a year ago. Yeah, and I mean, really, if you think about it, I never said...
When was her apology? If someone knows this and I've just missed it, please leave it down below. I don't think she ever apologized for it. At least not sincerely. And honestly, I know I'm saying I want to see the apology. I want to know if she did apologize because it does make a difference to me. But I don't know if I'd believe her apology. I don't know if I can ever believe another apology given by her again after the whole Charlie Cole situation. Like, how can you ever believe any apology she gives is genuine now?
You're a dirty addict. I said worry about your own addiction to whatever you're doing.
Who's calling you a dirty addict? Most people aren't saying that at all. Well, I'm sitting here saying that you are an addict and you are refusing to take care of yourself or deal with anything, and you're being avoidant. You're being avoidant, you're being manipulative, and you're gaslighting and manipulating your audience into giving you money. You actively change the topic, you actively change the story around your addiction whenever it suits you for whatever purpose it suits then. Right? So I didn't call you a dirty addict. I'm not out here saying that. And by the way, Chunky Junkie was real funny when she first heard it, when she was officially not taking drugs. But now that she is taking drugs, all of a sudden, once we had the confirmation, Chunky Junkie it's derogatory. How dare you say that about me? But when she knew she was taking drugs, but no one else did, Chunky Junkie was hilarious. She nearly busted a seam laughing hard at that.
Which is what they all should do, really, to be honest. But...
Fair enough.
Obviously, more people watch them. They think that that's an accomplishment. Obviously, if you weren't talking about me, if you weren't being a fucking asshole...
I'm going to steal a joke from Fat Sajak here, but Chantal really is just 3 Gabby Hannas in a trench coat. This is literally the same line that Gabby Hanna has to throw all the time. She's like, well, when you use my name in a title, you get millions of views. When I use my name, well, I still get millions of views, but that's because of me, not you. I accept my criticism from talented people. This is literally the same bullshit all over again.
And making up shit for drama that people love because they have no life, then you...
They can't make up things if they don't know the objective truth. The only person who's lying here is you, ma'am. And you know it.
Wouldn't have hardly any viewers either. So, yeah.
I mean, we have a ton of viewers because people like talking about things. It's just how human beings are. We like telling stories about stories. It's just fundamentally part of just human culture, I think. But the reason why, in particular, people seem to want to talk so much about the ridiculous shit you do is because you lie. People like a mystery. People like being able to suss out the truth from lies. And that's the problem with you, is you lie a lot. And you lie almost habitually. You lie pathologically. You make things up. You hide things. You obscure things. You lay down narratives that lead to nowhere. And you just basically make it as difficult to follow the thread beats of your life so that you can backtrack at any moment that you want. It's just how you are. That's why people like watching us. And also, you don't leave your comments open. I can't have a conversation with you about it, and I want to talk to someone about it. That's why I started my channel, because no one in my actual life gives a crap. And I needed to talk to somebody. And you guys are my internet friends who I talk with about this, right? That's why people come to my channel, because they want to talk about this with someone who also cares. This is a small community of people who really like watching a television show. And we all like sitting around and discussing it. Is it weird that this is the television show we like? Sure. But there are diehard fans of My 600-Pound Life out there, and I'd say that's just as depressing. Who are we to judge, if we think about it?
So, yes. And I've heard some disgusting shit that person said. Disgusting. Actually, I have a screenshot of it, so...
Yeah? I think she was trying to show a screenshot, and she actually didn't. If he said something, I don't watch his channel regularly. I watch very few channels regularly, to be very frank. But I catch his videos every now and then, and I haven't heard anything that I thought was disgusting. If you guys know more, please do let me know, because I would like to know. But as far as I know, just because someone is horrible doesn't mean that you should be horrible back. And you've shown a lot of tendencies towards bigotism yourself. So I tend not to believe Chantal when it comes to this stuff. She also thinks just criticism is like being horrible and nasty and mean. So
Negativity from any side? What do you mean?
Negativity
I don't understand.
from any
Like,
side.
I never do anything.
You never do. Are you kidding me? Her Greek food video where she's just sitting there raging at French Fried Girl. Get out of here, Chantal. I never do anything negative. I'm never negative.
Yum, enjoy, Marissa.
Her name should be fucking Nancy, given how negative she is all the time. Good God.
I never talk about people on my channel.
Are you kidding?
Negatively.
Are you kidding?
So.
Have you forgotten Lyfe by Jen?
I've never heard you be rude. You've defended yourself.
It is not okay. If you want to say that every single reaction channel out there is garbage and they should therefore, they get whatever they deserve, fine, whatever. The Lyfe by Jen situation was not that. You went and you did what you hate people doing to you, and then you couldn't fucking take it when she didn't want the advice. So, get out of here with that bullshit rhetoric, would you? She's just
do you go off on people? Who do I go off on, Brooke?
How about when people called you out for using the R word and all you had to say in response to that was, well, it's my emotional support slur. I've said it all my life. It's fine to say it. So I guess people who, have grown up in the South and have maybe grown up around racist family who say the N-word, they should just be able to say the N-word. I've heard it all my life. I guess it's fine to say now. Who cares about the people that it hurts? Right? And that situation had nothing to do with her eating. It had nothing to do with anything else. If anyone had used the R word as a slur, people would be mad. But she's unwilling to accept it. She's like, well, it's fat phobic that people are saying it to me. No, what it says to me is that you're unable to take criticism, because that was, if everything else you want to forget, even the Charlie Cole situation, if you just want to say, well, I didn't know. Even if her telling a Jewish woman to go react to the Holocaust was just saying well, I didn't know. That was something that people in her audience told her. People are like, hey, I have autism and we don't like that word being used. She just went ahead and she used it anyway because she's like, fuck that shit. It's just noise to her. She just doesn't like being told that she can't do something. That's all it is. That's why she doesn't like any criticism, because she sees anyone saying anything negative against her as being like a direct attack on her, rather than understanding that your actions might be problematic and maybe you should fix something about yourself. God forbid she ever goes through a moment of self-improvement and growth. The world might end.
People who are assholes to me first. I don't ever just...
I'm guessing the community full of people who are negatively impacted by the R word have personally victimized Chantal. Please, raise your hand if you've ever been personally victimized by a minority group.
You're missing the point. I don't ever just sit here and talk shit about people and analyze their life over and over. I never do that.
That doesn't matter. You say bigoted things, and then you don't take them back. People can say bigoted things. I've said bigoted things. I've been wrong in the past before. Admitting that you were wrong is part of the deal. That's how you learn and change and grow. Being unwilling to admit that you were wrong about something is what makes you a bigot. People are born into families that they can't help. There are people out there who were born into families full of Aryan brother individuals, right? People who are white supremacists, and they broke free of that and they learned and they growed and they changed. Read Educated by Tara Westover if you guys haven't already, and you'll understand what you mean. Your family, where you are, the circumstances you grow in don't define you, because we have the ability to change who we are to become better, different people. You can't do that. You don't want to do that. It's why you're mentally stuck at 17, why you haven't aged past that point. You still see yourself as being a young person when you're almost 40. Christ.
If I go off, there's a fucking reason. There's a difference.
No, you go off because you think you have a reason, rather than there actually being a reason. If someone came at me and they spewed a bunch of racist shit at me, I have a reason to go back at them. If someone comes into my comment section, and I've had people say, hey, you're being very unkind towards her. Hey, maybe you shouldn't have said this. Hey, you were wrong about that. People correct me all the time. That's not an excuse for me to go off at them. Being wrong, me being wrong, is not an excuse for me to be angry. I was wrong. It's as simple as that. People are wrong all the time. That's how the world works. I don't know everything. No one does. The fact that you cannot admit that is the problem.
Yeah, give me a break. You guys would probably do worse. I think I handle it pretty good. I ignore it, I would say, 95% of the fucking time.
You ignore it 0.0% of the times. You just don't rage about it as obviously. Ignoring it would mean not watching it. You guys know there's a small group of aunties on this platform who love talking smack about anyone who talks about the girls, right? And they've talked about me a bunch of times too. You know what I do? I don't listen to them. If they have something to say, they can come to my videos and they can leave me a comment and I'll read the comment, and if I think I have something to respond to, I will. Otherwise, I won't. That's as simple as that. That's all you have to do. So I can understand it might be hard, but your reaction is what makes it so much harder for you. That was not thunder. That was my stomach. And I'm not sorry.
So, I don't care. Like, it's just, they make up a lot of shit. Like, and people just blindly believe everything.
We don't blindly believe everything.
You know what I mean?
You're a liar. We can't trust you. So we go to other people.
No offense, but I'm about to offend you. Yeah, exactly.
No offense, but I'm not trying to offend you is very different from no offense and you're an R word, right? Me saying, hey, I don't want to hurt your feelings. This is just how I see the truth of the matter. And not insulting her appearance, not insulting her character any more than I think her character deserves to be insulted, quite frankly. But there's a big difference between that and someone just coming on here and once more calling her a hippo on land. That would be mean. That's just me describing her physical form and being rude about it. But if I come on here and say that you're a liar and you're offended by that, well, I don't know what to do about that, ma'am. You are a liar, right? She made fun of another woman who was in the hospital with her when she had gone there for a drug overdose. And she's like, well, I know it was kind of mean, but it was at least descriptive. Yeah, well, calling you junkie might be mean, but it's descriptive. You are both chunky and a junkie. Does that make it kinder? No. You don't want to extend any kind of kindness to other people. You just expect it. Why do I have to be nice to you if you can't be nice to other people? Why do you deserve empathy when other people don't? Why do you deserve kindness when other people don't? Why is there a special set of circumstances and rules for Chantal?
This is not hate. This is not hate, but you need to get a life.
Yeah.
You need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah. You do need to get a life and you do need to grow the fuck up. Like, that's not even hate. That's just literally accurate. Clean your fucking room, do your fucking taxes, go see a fucking doctor, and get your life together. I don't know why any of that is hate. Like, if I was a friend and I had a friend who behaved the way that she did, I would say that all of that to them. I would say, actually, I'd probably say it the exact same way, but I'd say it with more love.
Look, today is my last day of membership. I will not be renewing.
This is her, by the way, her member.
I have been a viewer for very long. This for you anymore. You're arrogant. Oh, okay, Michelle Julks. Well, since today's your last day, you can fuck off too. I'm gonna leave that up here, by the way. She's acting like, well, since it's your last day and you're no longer going to be paying for it, I'm gonna go ahead and block you. As if she hasn't blocked paying members who are still blocked right now just because they happen to express something that she didn't like. Are you kidding me?
Kidding you with what? What part of what she said was wrong?
Pathological. Okay.
You are pathological. You literally lie about stuff all of the time. Just a second ago, your first instinct was to lie. You said that you wanted to call the weight loss doctor, and then you're like, oh, wait, no, I have to actually fill out paperwork. Those are not even remotely similar. She's never even filled out the paperwork for it, but apparently she was on a wait list. Like, you do lie about things all the time. You lie to make yourself seem better.
Bye, Michelle Julks. Bye, Skimpy 2Bs.
God.
No, I honestly
obnoxious.
don't give a fuck who doesn't. If people don't like me, it's good.
Obviously.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Pathological. What did I do? Smoke weed? Because I did coke? Like, I don't...
Doing coke is not what makes you a pathological liar. Lying pathologically is what makes you a pathological liar. You just did coke and then also lied about it, right? If that was the only time and the only thing you'd ever lied about, people would let it go because people actually understand that being addicted to a substance like that can make your life difficult. It can warp your perception. It can make you behave in ways that you probably would not have otherwise been inclined to behave in. But when you do it without any of those other things, when you do it repeatedly and frequently on your channel, then yeah, it makes you a fucking pathological liar.
Understand, people. Obviously, I'm fucking arrogant to people who are assholes.
That's not what arrogant means. Arrogant means you think that there's a different set of rules for you than there is for other people. That's why you don't like it. People call you a chunky junkie, but you're okay calling people who might be mentally disadvantaged the R word. or using that as a derogatory term, or telling a Jewish woman to go react to the Holocaust, or calling a black woman coal, or whatever the other 50 bigoted slurs you've used. But God forbid I call you chunky junkie.
If you don't like it, well, yeah, then I guess just cancel your membership.
And they will.
Bye.
And they should. They 100% should. So that's all in her video that I wanted to react to. Look, I don't come on here to talk about Chantal and just be like angry at her and rage at her all of the time. It's just more and more recently, it's been harder to be kinder to her. She's using her recent revelation of having taken hardcore drugs as a reason to just behave in an absolute garbage manner. And she hasn't taken any accountability for her own part in her action. She hasn't taken any accountability for the way that she behaves, the way that she's acted in the past, the way that she's treated others around her. And she's still avoiding the problem. And I don't think that Chantal is going to get better. I've said this before and I'll say it again. While she's making money on YouTube, she's not going to actually be able to kick the habit. If she had the ability to do so, she would have already done it when it came to food. She needs to hit a rock bottom. A lot of people do before they really get their life together. And I think rock bottom for her would be losing her channel and her ability to monetize her current behavioral pattern. I'm going to be back. I really want to talk about her last video last night. So that's once more going to be coming on Wednesday. So hopefully you guys will be tuned in for that. Sorry it's going to be a little late, but I do actually want to talk about Amber as well. And that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated this video, you can go ahead and give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's opinions here. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below and hit all if you want to know when I upload any videos right away. I've got all my social medias linked down below. I've got Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that you're doing here, if you like the job that I'm doing here and you'd like me to continue, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. You don't have to, it's not necessary, but it genuinely makes a big difference and it helps me out. As you guys know, saving up for a camera and a good microphone. This one it's trying its best. But that's about it. Thank you so much, especially to D. Higgins, my $25 patron. I really appreciate you, girl. You make so much of this possible for me. And as always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel. And I am not relatable. Peace. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Wild Rose, Santhal, Jam Beans, Lauren Chris, Debbie Elliott, Juliet Q, Justa Jude, Kate O, and a special thank you to my $25 patron, D. Higgins. Sister, do you have anything to say?
No.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.